said, "Fuck it, we'll do it live."
Oh shit! Hey,
Oh, we
hey,
done lost.
hey,
Oh, there we
hey!
go.
There you go. We'll do it live.
Fuck it,
That
fuck it.
Bill O'Reilly shit was funny as fuck.
Funny as a
Oh
motherfucker.
man. Um.
Oh,
Hey, Kevin looking like he recording in a wheelchair. No disrespect to anybody with a disability, but
hell yeah, bro.
K-
Got the arms propped up.
KP look like he in the wheelchair, boy. Oh man. You
Oh,
rolling tonight, baby? The camera is. The
rolling,
camera's
rolling, rolling,
rolling.
rolling.
Oh man. Oh shit.
Man.
No disrespect. Oh shit. Hey, look, I'm already
Hey,
sweating and shit.
we
Uh,
live. We live, baby.
well,
We live.
hey, Ubon, what Bill O'Reilly say?
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
Fuck it.
Oh man.
And this nigga Oob said I had my arms propped up. Damn, I had to fix my
Oh
arms
man.
down.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit. I'm
Man,
over
man,
here
man, man.
sweating. Man, so we are live. So yeah, this is a recap of the whole weekend, really, but what's fresh on
Hold on.
uh
Let's get an intro or something, man. Hold on, man.
hey, I mean shoot, we might as well jump right into it, man. Two Peas in the Bong in the building. It's your boy DP.
It's your boy KP.
And live from I Told You So. It's your boy Bong.
Mm.
Okay.
Let's get to it. Y'all said
What
y'all wanna
what you
talk about the elephant in the room.
What you tell us, man?
What you tell us, man?
Hey, listen, man. I love Lamar Jackson like the next man. But we gotta start having some real harsh conversations
Let's go.
about who he is and how he performs in big time games. All right. He's a media darling. They like to paint him as this underdog because during the draft process, there were some GMs and some scouts that said that he should convert to running back or wide receiver or whatever position they were talking about. We're past that. Okay. He's been established as a QB1 in this league, a top 5 QB, multiple time MVP winner, maybe on his way to his third MVP.
I don't think he's gonna get the third. I think it's gonna go to Josh Allen now for sure.
Well,
But
maybe
go ahead.
because of the way the game ended. But if you think about it, hey, you
Did
can make
Josh
an
Allen
argument.
did
You can
Josh Allen outperform him though?
that's what I'm saying. You can make an argument that it wasn't on Lamar Jackson, that it was on Mark Andrews. And for those of you that will make an argument that it was on Mark Andrews as opposed to Lamar Jackson, I'll tell you that's bullshit.
Why?
The loss is strictly on Lamar Jackson.
No.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
No.
Wow.
absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely,
I
Wait,
strongly
wait.
disagree.
Let him make his point.
absolutely,
I
Let him make his
strongly
point.
disagree.
Let him make his
absolutely.
point before you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
in.
No, go ahead.
A lot of people have recency bias, right? So, like in a close game, in a tight game, whatever happens last is what cost you the game. But you know, I'll say Mark Andrews fumbled the second fumble of his career. This man has two fumbles. It's the second fumble of his career. No one's perfect. Again, second fumble of his career.
Third time
That that
saying it.
that turned into a field goal,
Okay.
right? So they gave up 3 points on that play. No matter when it happened, whether it happened in the first quarter, whether it happened in the fourth quarter, whether it happened in overtime, they gave up 3 points. Right.
Okay.
Then there was a pass, a 2 point conversion that would have tied the game. That you know, he was it looked like it should have been a easy pitch and catch. He was on the move. He dropped the ball. People will bury him for that as well. But I want to take everybody back to the second quarter. I believe Lamar Jackson fumbles the ball, drops Buffalo at the 24-yard line, and they turned that into 7 points. It was a 7-7 game. Lamar and the defense had been Lamar. Lamar and the offense had their drive was like I think a 58-yard drive thus far. So they were moving in the other direction. It's a fumble, almost a fumble six, They chopped the defender down on his way into the end zone, but they set Buffalo up at the 24-yard line. 24 yards to score. They turned that into 7, right? So it goes from potentially a 10-7 game for Baltimore because Baltimore was in scoring position already to a 14-7 game. So that's a 10-point swing right there. Even if
I
his
agree.
interception that he threw, nothing came of that because they I think they held them. They
Right,
forced
right, right, right.
Buffalo to
Come on.
punt. So
Hmm.
again, you gave up. That's a 10-point swing on the arm or hand of Lamar Jackson, the MVP, the 3-time MVP, the top 5 quarterback, the guy. And then you look to the other side, Josh Allen, who has historically been known for his interceptions and his fumbles. Guess what? No turnovers. They told Josh Allen, we're gonna put you in a position to win, play not to lose. They didn't ask him to do much. He didn't throw for many yards. He didn't run for many yards.
127 yards he threw for.
And
Okay.
how many yards did he rush for? He
He
ran for
rushed
like
for
no more than
20,
20 yards.
20
Okay. So he
yards, two
ran.
Right.
Okay.
touchdowns.
So
So
let's stop right there. So then he didn't outplay Lamar, so to speak, right? Oh, Say
Oh,
Breeze back in the building.
Say
What's
what up,
going on,
Breeze.
Say
Say
Breeze?
Breeze?
What's
He
good? What's
said he
good?
said Josh isn't the same Josh in the playoffs.
And Say Breeze, what I'll say is what I just told them. They didn't ask him to be. They told him not to lose the game. Right? So he put them in a position to win the game by not turning the ball over, not taking the risk that Lamar Jackson took. And ultimately he came out on the winning side.
Okay, but Uban, I want to address all that you said before that. All right. So you're talking about recency, like
Hmm.
people fall victim to recency or what happens last and all of that stuff. But
Hmm.
then there's also people build their narratives on clutch players and this and this and that and what happens down the stretch when it quote unquote counts, which I know everything counts in a game, but people talk about crunch time.
Yeah.
That last drive, while I was watching, I said when he overthrew likely from about they were at like the 10 or something like that, 5 or 10, whatever. They were very close. When he overthrew likely, I said, motherfucker doing exactly what Ubang say. He's
Oh
not
yeah.
accurate. He should have hit him right there, but then
Mm.
he came through on a couple of throws on the money, moving out the pocket, all of that kind of stuff. And it was likely who ended up catching a touchdown to put them in position to get the 2-point conversion to tie the game. Despite all of the stuff that happened leading up to the point to where Andrews dropped the ball, even Andrews his fumble, they were still in a position to tie the game and send it into overtime. Right? They could have no, they
Nope.
were in a position. They were What do you
No.
mean no? They
How were
just
they?
he
How were they
just
not in a
dropped the 2-point
position?
conversion. How's that not in a
Because
position to tie the game? He just
because
dropped it.
and I love this about the what ifs. I
Hold
love
on, hold on one
hold on.
second. Ooh,
It's not a
Yeah,
what
ooh,
is
ooh,
yeah,
Blaine. Say Breeze said something else.
yeah, I know, I know, I
Okay,
know.
okay, okay.
yeah. No, so and I love this about the what if scenarios, right? These fantasy scenarios, like, yeah, man, if Andrews catches the ball, they're in a position to go into overtime. Guess what y'all forgetting? There was a minute 44 left on the clock, and Buffalo, I think, either had 2 timeouts or had all 3 of their timeouts. So even if they tie the game, guess what? Buffalo has the
Right,
opportunity
they
to do.
still got to stop him, but you tied the game though. So
Yeah,
the game is tied. That's you that's a clear what if. If he catches the ball, it's a tie game. And then at that point it's like
we
whatever
don't know.
happens
Yeah, we
happens.
don't know.
You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is after he drops it. This game Ubon, when Andrews fumbled, I said game over. Right?
You did, you
I
Yeah,
did,
sent
you,
I sent the
yeah,
text like the game is
you did.
over.
yeah.
And
You
I,
did.
I really thought it was done at that point. When they were going down, I said, these motherfuckers are getting ready to tie this game despite everything that happened. Right?
Hmm.
And and
So
and, and I'm just saying, when I asked you before we got on here, you said yeah, it's on Lamar Jackson. A lot of it is on Lamar Jackson. It's not all Lamar Jackson though. I can't roll with the same way you saying, oh, it's not Andrews, and then you start pointing to all of the things that Lamar Jackson did. Man, you
Hey,
also have to point to all of the stuff that Mark
hey,
Andrews did and whoever else did and tackles that were missed and all of that stuff. Like it's not just on him.
so to mention Say Breeze's comment, he says, "Yeah, I also think it came down to play calling. To be honest, there wasn't anything called for longer than 12 yards. Of course, that's
And he
the
said something. He said something else too.
Yeah, and he
a
let
minute 33 left on the
yeah,
clock.
he's
Bills had
speaking
two
of what
timeouts
Ubang said.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been tied, but Josh isn't a slouch when it comes to game-winning drives.
True,
And
true. But
and
say Breeze.
we know he's not because he did it to Kansas City earlier this year.
Right, but say Breeze. All
He
I'm saying is at that point, Andrews catches the ball. We squared. And the game is a minute and 33. That's what it
and
comes down to. It's
and
a
up
minute
into
and 33 seconds. Regardless of whatever else happened, you were tied at that point. And the game is it's a minute and 33-second long game at that point.
And guess
Yes,
what that
Buffalo has the
Go ahead,
ball, but what
Kev.
happens?
I think Kev was about to say something. Go ahead, Kev.
Oh, I'm just saying. I'm more inclined. I'm leaning to the side of DP. Looking at it because Josh Allen has only thrown for 127 yards. He's only rushed for 20 yards. The longest reception was 17 yards. So it's not a given that he has a game-winning drive. And if you look at it, and what you were saying, Oob, I get it. Where you're saying that Lamar Jackson's turnovers turned into points for the opposing team for Buffalo. I get that, but that happened early in the game. And let's say that the roles were reversed, right? Let's say that the roles were reversed. Let's say that Mark Andrews does this stuff in the beginning of the game, um, and then the game is close, and then Lamar Jackson doesn't make the passes at the end of the game.
It,
Would we be saying that it was Mark Andrews
it's
because his fumbles turned into points for the Bills
it's
in the beginning of the game?
That
it's the
and
Or
last
would
and I don't think people would be saying that's
or would
what
we be
I'm
saying
saying.
yeah,
They
or would we
wouldn't.
be saying
and
Lamar Jackson missed
right.
him on the 2-point conversion
Absolutely.
at the end of the game?
That's what
Right.
they would be saying. Lamar
So
Jackson
Yes.
didn't make the passes.
The
so hear
pass
me
was the pass was there.
so hear me loud and clear. What Lamar Jackson did early in the game was take 3 points off the board for Baltimore and also give Buffalo 7 points. A 10-point swing directly related to his fumble. No questions asked. What had Mark Andrews caught the 2 point conversion, now we have a tie game, and let's say Baltimore loses. It just makes it a more valiant effort. Like, oh man, it was a close game, and it just really came down to who had the ball last. We would have set up the narrative like that. That way,
Whoa,
nobody
whoa, whoa, hold
nobody
on. Oban,
loses.
can I say something? Is it setting up a narrative or is that exactly what it would have been? That's not
No,
setting up a narrative.
that would have
No,
been
no, it's not a narrative. It's the game is tied. It's a minute 33 left, and it is what it is at that point. Like
right.
there's no
So
narrative. That's the facts.
no. The facts are Lamar Jackson had two turnovers. Josh Allen had none. Those are the facts.
No,
And the
that's a
and the
narrative.
fact and
Hold on,
no, whoa,
hold on.
here's another fact. Here's another fact.
That's a narrative.
Here's another
That
fact.
becomes a narrative.
Whoa, hold on. Here's another fact. Mark Andrews dropped a 2-point conversion that would have tied the game.
Right.
I mean, I hear you. I agree with the 10-point swing and all that stuff. If I can go from sport to sport to sport and talk about how if we look at your Lakers, for instance, when they were the Trailblazers were killing them that one year when they had Scottie Pippen
In
and
2000.
Rasheed Wallace and all them.
In
What
2000.
about all the stuff that they did before then that they ended up coming through and winning the game because
Yeah.
of the stuff that happened at the end of the game, towards the end of the game. That's all I'm saying. Like if you talk
Hey,
about crunch time and all that stuff, like why are we talking about crunch time? Why do we talk about crunch time
hey,
players and who comes through in the clutch like that?
let me paint it for you another way.
Please, yeah, let's go. Come on, Picasso.
Lamar Jackson. Okay, let me get with Say Breeze right now. Say Breeze says, yeah, but the 2 turnovers outweigh the drop 2-point pass though. Keep in mind they had an earlier 2-point attempt that missed that and missed
Oh,
it
I
then
agree.
also, right?
I
So now
agree.
had they gone for one, the earlier 2-point conversion, then that last touchdown that they're banking on Mark Andrews to get a 2-point conversion, all they need to do is kick an extra point, and we're where you guys say we're in overtime, which I don't believe is going into overtime.
And
I think
and
Josh Allen is going to drive the ball and get a win. Thank you,
and
Say Bree,
and,
for bringing that up.
and Say Breeze, I do agree. So Say Breeze says they were running the ball like crazy on them. They started running the ball like crazy because Derrick Henry wasn't really getting off like that early on, but then he started coming on in the second half. But I do agree that they should have run the ball. They should have ran the ball on the earlier 2-point conversion.
If you have Derrick Henry and you have a
Oh,
two
you
point
gotta get you.
conversion,
You have to.
Yeah.
he's carrying the ball every 2-point conversion. And again,
That last
I
2-point
really,
conversion was it just wasn't. It was there. It was a good call. It was just dropped.
Yeah.
I
It
really
was
hate,
just
Yeah.
but
dropped
I really hate
by
that
your best pass catcher
I
on the
really
team.
I really hate that it came down to the 2-point conversion and all that other stuff, because what's going to get buried in it all is that Buffalo in the second half could not stop the run. And I don't give a fuck if it was Derrick Henry or who's the other guy, 43.
Justice Hill.
Hill,
Justice
Justice Hill.
Justice Hill.
He was
Justice
getting
Hill
busy.
was killing them too.
Yeah.
They couldn't stop the run. I'm not passing the ball. That's what Buffalo did. And I know Buffalo knows those game plans in those inclement weather conditions, because I'm a Dallas fan, and last year when it was a fucking monsoon out there, Josh Allen beat the Dallas Cowboys passing for like 100 yards, and James Cook had almost 200 yards rushing on us. But let me get back to Lamar before I don't
That
let me
and
not
that
bury
is
the lead.
yeah. Go ahead.
Lamar Jackson. Listen to this. We talk about him in the playoffs and how the pressure either clearly is busting pipes because he can't perform under pressure. Let me give you a funny
Who
stat.
who
I,
Hold on.
can perform under pressure?
Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson.
I think that's false, but I'm
Man,
listening.
Okay, hold
that's
on.
a
Hold on. Let me give you guys
man.
a funny stat. Hey, Kev in
This
the
shit better
background with
be funny.
the video. Um, Lamar Jackson hasn't had a game with multiple turnovers all year until this game. His last multiple turnover game last year
In
against
the
the Chiefs
playoff.
in the playoffs in the AFC Championship game. This dude literally was one of the best quarterbacks as far as turnovers go in the league this year.
Hmm.
He gets into the
3.
playoffs, and now he has 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's costly. And
So what?
and look, this is all I'm saying, Uban. While I agree with you, right? He said, "While I agree with you, the
Well,
thing
hey, we're gonna
is,
get to your comments, say Breeze, because you you
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
you cooking right now.
I know. Let's. While I agree with you, um, I don't agree with just throwing it on Lamar Jackson, which is what you're doing, which is
Yeah.
what you did before we got on here, and that's just the part that I don't agree with. So while you speaking facts with a lot of stuff, it's just
I'm a
it's just not squarely on him. Like, but
I'm listen.
if you want to hop on that side with
I'm
everybody
I'm a,
else and say
I'm a,
that, well,
I'm a
be
I'm a
my guest, man.
I'm a sadistic Cowboy fan. All I hear on TV every day, the Cowboys ain't even in the playoffs. Our quarterback got hurt earlier in the year. All I keep hearing every day on national TV is that Jaden. Well, we'll get to him later. Your quarterback, the Cowboys can't win because of their quarterback, right? Last year we lost to Green Bay in the first round of the playoffs, even though the defense gave up touchdowns on 6 out of first 7 drives. The defense gives up touchdowns. They're saying that it's on the quarterback. So now you guys make me believe that wins and losses are on the quarterback. It doesn't matter what the defense does or doesn't do. It doesn't matter what the running back does or doesn't do. It doesn't matter if the receiver or the tight end drops a pass or doesn't drop a pass. You're the quarterback. You're paid the most. Lamar Jackson's getting paid $55 million a year. Go fucking win the games. And I can't rely on you to win games when you're a turnover machine in the playoffs. Your turnovers, you have damn near the same amount of turnovers as touchdowns in your playoff career. Those are facts. It's not a narrative. So
Right.
he's a media darling. Everybody loves him. Oh man, he's all, Lamar Jackson always says the right thing. Hey man, nobody cares. Work harder. Do all the little slogans, all the little lines. Oh, my mom kicked my ass because we look terrible. Great, bro. You can't get over the hump. At some point in time, I'm gonna just tell you some of the narratives that I hear, being a Dallas Cowboy fan. Hey man, you got to get a rookie on a quarterback on a rookie contract because paying Lamar Jackson all that money, you can't afford to bring in other pieces, right? And man, has he regressed? Has the window closed on him? Like these are all the narratives, bro, that
What
I
the
have to
narrative
hear.
as a
That
as a
I have
Cowboys fan?
as a
Yeah,
Cowboy.
he meant Dak
Hold
Prescott.
on, hold on, hold on,
No,
hold on.
no. So
Hold on. And I heard you. I heard you out. Let me just kind of interject really quickly to ask you a few questions, man. Number one is, why are we using the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott as a barometer and analysis for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens?
because Dak Prescott is the poster child for playoff failure. And I have statistics that say there are quarterbacks from Justin Herbert to Lamar Jackson to before he got to the Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford. There are a bunch of quarterbacks that have never won. Josh Allen, you could throw him in there.
Okay.
Josh Allen, who's never got over the hump, right? But again, for some reason, everybody looks past it and says, "Hey, man, there's this upper echelon where it's Lamar, it's Patrick Mahomes, obviously at the top, and there is at this point there's no disputing that." And I have thoughts about Patrick Mahomes, and I know that there was a lot of controversy with referees and all this other stuff in that Kansas City Texans game.
Mm-hmm.
But Patrick Mahomes literally stands in a category of his own at the tip top. Then they start putting all these other guys, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, none of who have won anything.
Okay.
One got to a Super Bowl and this in this second tier and they ain't did shit.
Okay. So again, your reason for using the Cowboys and Dak Prescott as the barometer is because
Dak Prescott is the poster boy for playoff failure when it can be said that Lamar Jackson should be the
okay,
poster boy for playoff failure, but he's a media darling. So
okay.
I'm going to hold him
I'm just wondering.
as a matter of fact. Hold on. Who do you believe? Who do you believe is a better quarterback between Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott?
I'm going with
Mm,
Lamar Jackson.
yeah, I mean that's I'd rather have Lamar Jackson on
Correct.
Dallas's team.
And
I'll go with Lamar
do,
Jackson.
do you know that Dak Prescott in the playoffs has been leaps and bounds better than Lamar Jackson over a career?
And I hear you, and this is I was just wondering, like when you said it and you said it again, I wasn't even gonna like even talk about it, but you brought Dallas and Dak Prescott in, and I'm thinking it's just because you're a Dallas fan, so you would speak from that perspective of it being your team, and you kind of go off of the stuff that you hear and all the narratives you hear about your team, and those you apply those to like your analysis of others. Because I'm thinking like Dallas should have nothing to do with this discussion, because even that shit you sent me the other day or sent us the other day in a group chat of all the shit that happened since '95, Like,
Yeah.
we'll get to that.
hey, look, hey, I thought about all the shit that's happened to us in the nigga. We've graduated from high school. We graduated from college. We've
Had
had
kids.
children. Motherfuckers have gotten married. Like,
Yeah.
and
Hey,
Dallas is still not doing anything in the playoffs. So they should have nothing to do with a playoff discussion. Like at least Lamar Jackson got to an AFC championship game. Like the Commanders win on Saturday now makes Dallas the team who hasn't reached a conference championship game. It's been the longest drought for them in the NFC,
yeah,
Yeah.
90,
which is
95,
crazy.
We weren't even in high school, dog. We
Yeah,
95.
we
like
So
wasn't even in high
again,
school.
so throw in junior high. We
Yeah.
graduated from junior
so
high, high
Yeah.
school.
so say Bree said that you know um, that Lamar Jackson talked about his playoff success, talking about 13 touchdowns, 11 turnovers in the playoffs. And that's those are career numbers.
Right.
Everything is down. So again, Lamar Jackson, I love bro, but I think he is a media darling. Everybody loves him as he's like the perfect underdog, right? He's the perfect underdog. He he talks about not having hey, I don't want to be friends with Josh Allen in the offseason. I don't want to hang out with those guys. I want to compete against them. I want to beat them. This, that, and the third. Like, man, he says all the right things. What I believe, and until proven otherwise, what I believe is a lot of these quarterbacks in the AFC will go down as Charles Barkley, Sean Kemp,
Mm.
um,
Patrick
Because
Ewing.
because of
Patrick
Mahomes.
because of Mahomes. It's the
Yeah,
Jordan effect.
I
Like you
agree.
guys, or you can say Jordan and or Kobe or whatever. Like there were a time when Jordan specifically, he had guys that Charles Barkley
Hall of
that
Famers.
year Hall
Hall of
Hall
Famers.
Hall
Yeah.
of Famer and Hakeem Olajuwon is so thankful that he took 2 years off so he could run in there and steal two championships.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
then when Mike came back, he was
It was over.
Right. Hey, I got another question. I got another question. Let's say in Ubang, a lot of the stuff is what ifs, right? So
absolutely.
I have to say this, so I don't want you to like just say we ain't talking what ifs, like because Ubang will hit you with that
Hypothetical.
shit real quick.
Yeah.
So let me just say, even if it's next year,
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson goes and wins. So if it was this year, Lamar Jackson wins or whatever, right?
Okay.
What would you say if he wins and then goes on and he wins a Super Bowl? You're like, oh, he's a Super Bowl
He will be
winning quarterback.
he'll be validated.
Okay, he'll be validated.
It's
Okay.
the only blemish on his record. I will tell you again. Let me state this another stat.
Uh-huh.
Lamar Jackson is the only quarterback in NFL history with multiple MVPs that has not played, not one, that has not played in the Super Bowl. He's the only
Okay.
multi-time
So
winning MVP that has not played in a Super Bowl. That
so
is a
if
blemish on his
so
record.
if that happens though, you're saying he'll be validated, right?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but it won't change the fact that of the stats that say Breeze threw out, right? The 13 touchdowns, 11 turnovers, and all that stuff. Those will still stand, but he'll
No,
be
no,
the, whoa, hold on. They won't. They're facts, right?
right, but
Okay,
it'll be
hold on,
it'll be
wait. Let me
it,
finish. Let me finish though.
okay. I was
They'll
just saying
be
it'll be forgiven.
oh, because that's another way. You said he'll be validated. It'll
Yeah,
be forgiven because of the recency of what he did. So the recency does matter
it
when
doesn't.
you're
No,
evaluating. What?
no.
How does it not? If the last thing he did is what validates him, how does the recency not
The
matter?
validation is when it's all said and done. When your career is over, you will have the stamp of Super Bowl, and nobody's going to
Right.
wonder when you did it or how you did it. Again,
That's all I'm saying. Whoa. So that's all I'm saying.
yeah,
So if they would have won the game, nobody would say anything about how it happened or what happened this and that, or when he fumbled and did all of that shit, if they would have won the game, it would be nobody would be talking about that shit.
You know what they were
So
saying if
so
they
whoa
won the
whoa
game?
hold on wait. So you can't say that, oh, we're not gonna talk about if Mark Andrews didn't catch the ball. That's a big part of the puzzle. That's a big part of the discussion. And I do understand why you're going to Lamar Jackson, but I gotta go to Andrews also. I gotta go to all the motherfuckers also. Like it has to be discussed, in my opinion. Like I get
Sure.
it. I understand what you're saying, and yes, he's a multi MVP winner and all of that stuff. So you're gonna
Hey,
you gonna blame him like most of the other motherfuckers, but
if
I'm just
if
saying, man.
as we go into the off season, as we look forward to next year, I don't know how many people are going to mention Mark Andrews. They're going to say Lamar Jackson couldn't get it done. And if they would have won, the conversation would have been Lamar Jackson was resilient. Lamar Jackson stood and came through after a shaky start. That's the MVP. Like he had an MVP caliber
Right.
performance. They would have put all the superlatives in a positive with a positive spin on it, but he lost. So now that he
No,
lost,
exactly. He
now that
did.
he lost, and it's funny. A lot of people are again. We'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow, it'll open up the floodgates, and everybody will say it's on Mark Andrews. But at the end,
I don't know if they will. I think they'll be more along the lines of what you're saying. That
I
will criticizing Lamar Jackson,
I
and
got a
and
question.
and like we said, my bad, KP. The last time we spoke, when Bong and I spoke, and Say Breeze, I don't know if Say Breeze is still there, but Say Breeze was a part of the conversation too, and we actually said your question was who had more pressure, or who
Yeah.
needed it more and all of that kind of stuff, and I said, damn, that was a tough question, but to flip it, it would be who would get more scrutiny in a loss. And I think that's what's actually coming next is the scrutiny.
Okay, so I just want to ask a question. So
thank you,
you
Marvin's World.
Marvin's World jumps in the building. Of course, it falls on the QB. Same with the W. So the wins and the losses on the QB. Okay, I mean, but Marvin's World and KP's got something to say. But Marvin's World in the interim, while we wait for you to respond to this, um, is it just on Lamar Jackson? Is that the position you're coming from as well? Is it just Lamar Jackson? KP, what you
so
got
you
for me?
said that a Super Bowl stamps a quarterback. Is that what you're saying, Ubon?
No, I said a Super Bowl stamp would stamp Lamar. Lamar has that void. It's not a quarterback because I don't think that what's the guy Trent Dilfer or
Yeah,
or
because that's where I
Joe
was going.
Flacco.
I was gonna
Yeah,
ask, is Doug Williams stamped since he's won a Super Bowl?
It, so,
Doug Williams is
yes.
stamped.
Well,
Yeah,
yes. What you?
Doug,
Huh?
Doug Williams is stamped.
Oh, he is.
Why? Because
But
he's the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. What?
That would be
absolutely.
one thing.
Okay, I'm just asking. I'm asking.
But I'd say
Go
like
look. Ooh, go on.
But I could list a bunch of guys: Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer, Joe Flacco. Or Joe Flacco, he earned his keep that year. But there's a lot of guys that leaned on the strong defense, that Tampa Bay defense, that Ravens defense, right? Twice, you know what I'm saying? Like that, you didn't really need too much out of the offense, and the quarterback really just came along for the ride. But with Lamar Jackson is considered the driver of the ship. Like he's the guy that carries the load.
Mhm.
He's a multi-time MVP for a reason. Even though he shouldn't have won last year, I would not go into that. And I really want to move on to the next game, to
No, we
another
will.
game,
We
but
will. Let,
again, the
one.
only thing is that Super Bowl is, if he retires never winning a Super Bowl, it will be one of the biggest voids in a
Oh,
career ever.
absolutely. And I completely agree with you. Before we move on, I'm gonna pose one more question. So Marvin's World says no, but that's usually the narrative, especially if it's a close game. That's in response to me asking him, was it all on Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Marvin's World. In a close game, another question for you would be, did Lamar Jackson do enough down the stretch in that close game? I mean, was it on him down the stretch in the close game? If we're talking about narratives now,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, I'm
No, he's
just,
asking Marvin. Marvin's world.
but Marvin's
Yeah.
World will respond when Marvin's
No,
World
no, no, no.
respond.
Oh, no, no. I wasn't answering. I'm saying yes, like to what he's saying.
Okay.
So let's
Yeah, I
move on to the
wasn't.
next
Okay.
game.
So
As he,
he brought up Doug Williams though,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Let's talk about the Commanders because that to me was the biggest surprise of the weekend. Like everybody was talking about Detroit and how Detroit was gonna stomp them and put up 40 and da 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 and all of this stuff. Like,
They got Sonic and Tails, man.
listen, I'll
Got a
go.
nice
Knuckles.
receiver. Got a nice
Yeah,
receiver for him, man.
Knuckles.
Knuckles.
Yeah.
He,
So look,
Knuckles.
so,
Hey, man, I'm old
Sonic
school, man.
Tails, man.
It's Tails, man. I'm
um,
old school, man. It's
hey,
Tails.
look. So I'll say this. Not only were the Commanders over defeating the Lions the biggest surprise to me, I'm gonna go out and say the Commanders may end up in the Super Bowl.
um, I won't go that far.
Oh, I will.
Jaden Daniels can win on the road.
If you don't
Done it
put up
twice.
points, like if you find yourself in a little slump or something, you're gonna be in a shootout with the Commanders.
So when the Commanders, when that game was announced on paper based on their record, you would have assumed that the advantage would have been Detroit's. But the entire time, I knew that Detroit's defense was they had sustained too many injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what I did not expect was for the Commanders to come out and go shot for shot with them, play the perfect game, no mistakes, and Jared Goff turn back into Jared Goff. I'm so happy that I'm so happy that
Hey, and go ahead. I don't want to stop your flow, but
no,
you're
no,
so
no.
happy.
I'm so happy that they lost because there was an arrogance about Detroit, and especially under the leadership of Dan Campbell. Last year, they were like a surprise, right? Like Cinderella team.
Yeah.
They they caught people by surprise.
Yeah,
This year,
and on top of that, it was Detroit.
this year they
Motherfuckers
came
are
in.
winning like 1 or 2 games before.
Right. They came in with so much bravado, right? They came in and like, hey, we don't care if the game is over, we're not resting our players. We're gonna run the score up. You know who they reminded me of? That New England team that went 18 and 0. Went undefeated, ran through the playoffs. They was running it up 50 to 15, 50 to
Mm-hmm.
12, 50 to 10. And hey, if you don't want us to score, stop us. Right? That's
I ain't mad at it.
but
I'm
again,
not
yeah, if
either.
you play fantasy football, yeah, I'm not mad at it. But again,
Not
Brady
even
threw
just
for
on
50.
fantasy football.
Brady
from
threw
the
for 50 touchdowns that year.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
But from the standpoint of just respecting the game, it was like, nah, and we gonna consistently put our offensive linemen out there as a threat to score and this, that, and the third, and we doing this whole cute backyard Pop Warner ass shit where we're definitely better than the guys that are in front of us.
Hmm.
So we're gonna run it. We're gonna run it up on them. That's great. And I think football karma caught up to him. And Dan Quinn was going for it on fourth down and being super relentless with him. You know what I'm saying? They pulled out the Detroit pulled out trick play after trick play, but the Jared Goff that was in with the Los Angeles Rams showed up. When they really needed him to be the quarterback,
Damn.
He couldn't be.
And Marvin's World is a Lions fan, by the way. That's crazy.
Oh,
Nah, hey, shout
I,
out to the Lions though. Like I ain't mad at it. Hey, Uban, while you talking about trick plays, you know which play was dope though? When they pitched it back. Who was in
Teddy Bridgewater.
no, when Bridgewater pitched it back. No, that's the play to Gibbs. That's when Gibbs ran for the was it when he ran for the touchdown? I'm talking about where they pitched it back. I don't know which running back was in at the time, but then he pitched it forward to Amon-Ra St. Brown. So it was
Oh
a
yeah.
pitch back to the running back and then a pitch forward to St. Brown. That shit was so dope. I think
Again,
Amon-Ra ran all the way to maybe the 5-yard line or something like that. And I think it was Montgomery. They pitched it back to him, then he pitched it forward to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he ran to the 5. That shit was dope.
hey,
Their plays were dope.
Marvin's World. As a Lions fan, I have an honest question. Do you believe that Jared Goff, as the quarterback of the franchise, is a difference maker? Like, does he move the needle, or did he benefit from being a part of an amazing offensive scheme run by Ben Johnson with a two-headed monster running
That's
back, a
man.
speedster in Jameson, a possession receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown, a tight end in Laporta, right? Like, and a hell of an offensive line.
Because Uban, on the heels of you asking that question, remember in our text chain, I sent Bridgewater is in and just led them on a touchdown drive.
yeah.
And what did you say?
I don't remember.
You said something like you said Goff is a system.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
went
yeah.
straight to
Yeah.
Goff
Yeah.
is a system
Absolutely.
QB.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You were like Goff is a system QB.
Hey man,
So
I thought y'all was gonna say that Detroit lost it when they had LiAngelo Ball performing at the halftime show.
In the beginning of the game, I think
At the
it was
beginning of
the
the
fourth game. Yeah.
yeah,
Tweet.
I thought you were gonna say that's when he
Hey,
lost it.
hey, don't hate on LiAngelo. He just signed a $13 million deal, man.
Def Jam, right?
Mhm.
But again,
And he might be dropping some new shit on your ass pretty soon.
and it was so funny that at the end of the game, it's a fourth down play, and Detroit has 12 men on the field.
Mm-hmm.
They can't get them off, and they gift Washington a first down on the goal line. It was just like super Detroit. Like, as soon as it's easy to win
Mhm.
when there's no pressure, right? And so I feel that same way about Jaden Daniels. People are starting to run with that narrative. Thank you, Marvin's World. I appreciate your comment. He said the second part 100%, which was Goff benefiting from being a part of a super extravagant system. Ben Johnson is definitely going to be a head coach. He's gone from Detroit. I would love to see what they look like next year, because I think that this was their year. This was their year to go. But when they lost Aiden Hutchinson early in the year, that one was deflating, and then they started to lose pieces on the defensive end, especially in the secondary, that just they couldn't overcome, and they had to get in the shootouts. And Goff picked one of the worst times to have a bad game, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but anyway,
and not just Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn's probably gonna
they
get
both
shot.
gone. They
Yeah,
both gone.
Defense
so
and
you're gonna lose your
Yeah.
offensive and defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So
They
that
both gone.
team may not be looking the same next year.
So what I was saying was, with Jaden Daniels, right? You're starting to hear a lot of the same talk. All I keep hearing is Jaden Daniels. I've never seen this before. Man, who does that say? God damn.
Say it. Say it. No. Say it.
CJ
Stroud. Thank
CJ
you.
Stroud.
Didn't I say that last time?
I was
When we
just
were
saying
talking last time.
I will be. God damn it.
Hey, but
God,
Ubon, I don't want to go. I don't want to go into Dallas, but I asked you. Remember, I asked you: should Dallas trade Dak Prescott, look for a Herschel Walker type deal, and try to find the next Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud? Because remember, they were like, CJ Stroud, we haven't seen this, and you probably won't see it again for a while. And the very next year, here's Jaden Daniels. So is somebody else gonna do it next year? I mean,
Okay.
just
So
saying, just saying. But go ahead,
so
man. I
but
digress, nigga.
but definitely I would like everybody to he's having a great rookie season. He hasn't there hasn't been a rookie season as good as his since CJ Stroud last year. And before CJ Stroud, man, again, and I'm gonna just blow right through
Go
this
ahead,
real quick
say
so
it.
that I'm gonna blow through it so that it doesn't seem like that's what I'm talking about. Dak Prescott. He went 13-3 his rookie year.
Knew it.
But
I knew it was
uh,
coming back.
but anyway, um, and year two,
Mm-hmm.
defensive coordinators begin to adjust to what you're running. They begin
Yeah.
to adjust to your style of play, and
Oh,
CJ Stroud
uh,
hasn't looked as good, right? So definitely, I would like to reserve judgment on Jaden Daniels. He's having a hell of a season. There's no pressure. They're playing with house money,
mm-hmm.
but I think the best defense that they will have seen to this point is next week against
Right,
Philly.
right. But this is the like the strike while the iron is hot kind of deal, right?
Yep.
It's like this is probably your best chance to get this shit done, right? And I'm just saying, if you go in there and you underestimate them and all of this shit, the the Eagles ain't really been clicking on all cylinders like that, you know. And if you find yourself in a game where it's just back and forth, the Commanders been doing that shit all season,
Yeah.
and they've been finding ways to win. They can beat the Eagles, man. They can. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Now,
If
the,
I was a
the
betting man and I had to bet the house on it, I'm going with the Eagles, but I'm not surprised. I would not be surprised if the Commanders won the game. Just saying.
I'll say this: the Eagles have the better defense.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles have the better run game, and the Eagles are not allowing Jalen Hurts to lose them games.
Right.
Jalen Hurts now has I think what 4 playoff wins, and I don't think he has more than 160 yards passing in any of
Man.
his playoff
Yeah.
wins.
Yo.
Yeah.
They're like, bro, you're not gonna kill us. We gonna lean on the run. Saquon gave you 200 today.
Especially having Saquon Barkley. It's like, why not? Why
The
not?
rich get richer, man. And again, to all those people that say if you pay a quarterback, you can't bring in talent to surround him. Jalen Hurts is getting 55 million a year. They
Mm-hmm.
have Saquon Barkley. They have AJ Brown, who they paid. They have Devontae Smith, who they paid. They have Dallas Goddard. They got this other tight end. Why do I keep wanting to call
You
this
talking
dude
about the other
Calcutta?
white guy? Talking
Yeah,
about the other
yeah,
white? Yeah, the other white.
yeah.
I think he's like
Cal,
Who?
89 or something like that.
Cal, Calcutta or some shit,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And they have one of the best, if not the best, offensive line in football.
And you ain't even talking about look,
Engineer.
engineer in the building. Engineer in the building. Hey,
Hey,
hey, oh, and you haven't even started to discuss the defense. Cause Jalen Carter with that sack on Stafford, that kind of sealed the deal.
Mm.
again, they got that defense really gave Matt Stafford hell. And
Man,
shout out to Matt Stafford because, hey,
they still were in a spot to where they could have won the damn game.
Yes.
absolutely. They should have, but on third, I think it was that third down, the 3rd and 4 in the red zone
That's
with
when
plenty
that's
of
when
time left.
Carter got the sack.
Engineer, we haven't even talked about the Kansas City Texans game,
Nah,
so
we ain't got there, so
we ain't
we'll
got
need
this.
your
So
input.
yeah. Hang out with us for a second.
Engineer is a Texans fan. Yo, engineer, you weren't here last time, and I don't know if Say Breeze is still with us, but shout out to Marvin's World who jumped in as well. We got KP with us. He wasn't here last time, but this is the full crew, man.
Yeah.
Two P's in a bong, full crew.
Yes,
DP,
indeed.
KP, and Bong. So um,
Engineer says I'm so over football after that bullshit Kansas City game. But I saw y'all live, so I had to join. I appreciate you,
okay,
bro.
okay. Thank you,
Hey,
engineer.
and
Shout out to you, man.
I have a rebuttal. I have contrary thoughts. Okay,
On what? Contrary thoughts. Go ahead.
on
Mm.
Kansas City. Marvin's World just jumped in, said the Eagles deserve to get there right now. They always was a team to beat in the NFC. If
Uh,
they were, but
this
they
for sure. For the past, maybe
but
past 3 to 4 years.
I'm talking about this year.
No, I'm saying, and they have been for the past maybe like 3 to 4 years. It's been the Eagles.
Yeah.
It's been the Eagles. There's always a bunch of talk about the Cowboys. They never live up to the hype. The Eagles have actually been the team that's the one to beat in the
The,
NFC in the NFC East for sure.
the Cowboys are all smoke and mirrors. But as far
Yeah,
as this year, I think that the two the two premier teams on in the AFC and the NFC were Baltimore and Philadelphia.
yeah, yeah,
They were the favorites all year on both sides. Um, Philadelphia, they have proven time and time again that they're going to win in spite of their quarterback. He doesn't have to do much. I mean, to be able to turn around and hand the ball off to Saquon
yeah, yeah.
is, and
And
Saquon
it's
just rips off 40, 50, 60-yard
A
runs.
luxury. It's a
yeah,
luxury.
yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy, Marvin's World, to your point too, now that I'm thinking about it. And even how you just broke it down, Ooh, about Philly and Kansas City, you said, right? Philly and Kansas City. If you look at the AFC, you're usually
Baltimore,
like
Baltimore. I say Baltimore.
Baltimore, I'm sorry. If you look at the AFC, well, which goes to show, if you look at the AFC, you're always like Baltimore, Kansas City, maybe the Bills, But in the NFC, it's been the Eagles and the others. Has there really been another contending NFC team where you say you got to
This
look out for so and so?
this year was Detroit until the defensive injuries.
Right.
It would have been Philly and Detroit had it not been for the defensive injuries. Those defensive injuries really crippled Detroit. And they
Yeah.
were able, because their
Gl-
offense was so dynamic, they were able to shoot it out with a
yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Because
But
because Glenn was breaking out the rubber bands, band-aid,
yeah,
toothpaste, glue,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
all, and holding that shit together, and they
Yeah.
was just doing just
And
enough.
engineers said Philly saved their season when they got the defensive coordinator. Absolutely. From Miami. He was a difference maker. He was the reason they won today. It was
And
their
when they got
defense.
Saquon Barkley.
And that, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're additions, but again, you're talking about um
And that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, I'm sorry. Engineer says the lack of elite QBs in the NFC really restrict a lot of teams, right? Ubon, it's kind of what, and it does go to your point about it falls on the shoulders of the QB. You got to talk about Lamar when it comes to the L's and all that stuff. But it's like, who do you point to in the NFC as an elite quarterback? Because all when I asked you about the top quarterbacks that you had, all of them were in the AFC
yeah,
or are in the AFC. Last week when we talked, every quarterback you named in the top four is in the AFC.
yep, yep. Hey, Marvin's World. Hey, I love this. I love the chat, man. The chat is going crazy today. But Marvin's World says San Francisco, they hyped up Detroit all year with their offense. Yeah, no, they did, because that was a Detroit beat the hell out of San Francisco. But
Yeah,
but again, so Philadelphia, they're able to win when Jalen Hurts. They limit, what he does offensively. Um, they can lean on Saquon and that defense, that defensive line, that second man. They have that defense in Philly. That's what I'm
I
saying. Like when
said
we,
I've been talking about Philly's
no, no,
defense
no.
for a while, man.
But what I'm saying is what I just spoke to a few minutes ago. I think that that's the best defense that Washington will face. They benefited from Tampa Bay wasn't a great defense. Detroit, as assembled, minus the injuries, was not a great defense. Philadelphia, they are stacked on all three levels. I'm talking about D line, linebackers, and secondary. They went and got that, and it speaks to the aggressiveness of the winning programs. Philadelphia reloads the clip every year. San Francisco reloads the clip every year. Detroit seems to be coming along as a team that will reload the clip every year. What will Detroit do when they lose their offense and defensive coordinators? is yet to be seen. But the last 2 years, they're building something, and I'd like to see if they continue on that trajectory. Can we talk about Kansas
Wait,
City
hold on
and the
before you get to
Texans?
that, because you mentioned the defense, right? And you mentioned
Hmm.
those things. There's the other element that I'm curious to see. I want to see how Jaden Daniels does in the cold weather
Hmm.
because Tampa Bay wasn't cold and Detroit was in a dome. So now you go to Philly. I want to see how that plays out because that's another element to the defense.
And in regard to them restacking, reloading, I've been talking about this shit because I think it was a long time ago, maybe sometime last year we had a discussion, and I said, man, Detroit, I mean, the Eagles in their picks, man. And Ubang was kind of like, whatever. But they're picking defensive players
You just saying
as
that because
their first. No, no,
they
no,
taking them because they taking them from Georgia.
from Georgia,
Yeah,
baby.
exactly. That's all.
But
Yeah.
look. It's not just that they're taking them from Georgia. It's their first round draft picks. They're using them. Listen, Jordan Davis, D tackle Georgia. Jalen Carter, D tackle Georgia. Nolan Smith, linebacker Georgia. They got the cornerback from Toledo, Quinion Mitchell. Like they're they're drafting well and addressing their defense. It's like it just goes back to like Ubang talking about front office competency and all of that stuff. You got to throw them in there when you're talking about that because they making it happen, man.
Who, Philly?
Philly
That's
with
what I'm telling you. I
yeah.
think Philly
No, I said it goes to you
oh yeah.
talking about
Hey,
the competency.
out of the NFC, Philly is about to Philly. Hold on, did they win a super? No, they lost the Super Bowl with Nick Sirianni, right?
You said they did what?
They lost their Super Bowl with Nick
Yes,
Sirianni.
yes, they did.
But if they win next week, they will be they'll be on their what's that like their third Super Bowl that they've been in, like in the last what 15, 16 years.
Yeah,
Remember they went with
and two under Sirianni, two under him.
oh yeah.
So that's like,
So so they had the one that they won under Doug Peterson.
mm-hmm.
Then they got Sirianni, where they went and they lost, and then they got Sirianni will potentially take them to another
If
Super
he
Bowl.
goes again, it's like
And so again, all I'm saying is, man, I love the aggressive Philly. It's every year. It's every year. We lose something, we're gonna restock. We're gonna restock the cabinet. We lose something, we're gonna restock the cabinet. Now, how they're able to make their cap work when they pay all these players, they can teach a master class to some of these lesser programs, right? But
yeah,
again, I really want to get to this Kansas City Texans game. Engineer said that Washington has had a favorable run so far, not to take anything away from them, of course. Yes, they have.
yeah.
They have, um, you know, they
A-
run
And
into a few
and he,
teams.
but before that, he said Philly might actually destroy Washington. Which right before he got on, I said Washington might sneak and beat Philly. So
Anything's
I
possible.
don't know. I hear
Yeah.
I hear you though, engineer. I hear you.
So, okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah,
Patrick
that's the
Mahomes.
engineer squad, the
Um,
Texans.
it was a decent game, close game early. Um, Kelsey turned it on. I told you, is you know I've been hearing a lot of people talk about Jaden Daniels and the poise in which he plays with, and like how resolute this guy is. And I feel so disrespected for Patrick Mahomes
Mm,
because there's no quarterback in the NFL right now that can get the title poised other than Patrick Mahomes. And the person that could share that title with him before, but is no longer in the league right now,
Brady.
is Tom Brady. And what I'm talking about is not like, hey man, he just made a winning play. No, no, no. they will make the play. It doesn't matter what it is, and it doesn't necessarily have to be. It doesn't necessarily have to be a pass thrown or a run. Patrick Mahomes, hey, listen, I'm gonna ease up on my run. I'm gonna stay in bound a little bit because I know that your momentum is gonna run into me, and that's gonna give me a 15-yard penalty. It's this right here. Too crafty, too smart, knows every angle to take, knows every play to make, takes advantage of what the advantages the quarterback has, and how they can manipulate the referees, whether we like it or
I
not.
I agree with you. With
Whether we, but whether we like it or not, it's a skill set. Do you want to win or not? Is it whatever it takes to win or not?
yeah, I agree with you, but don't the sideline shit with the I'm slowing up. That did not get a flag and it's gonna start looking like flopping in football, and that shit's not gonna work. But overall, for what you're saying, I agree. I agree. But I'm not gonna throw that
But
in
what I'm saying,
poise. Like that's
no. I'm saying that his ability to take advantage of every rule, every play, every key that he gets from a defense, like everything is, what I'm saying, he takes advantage of every possible scenario. It's like Bill Belichick and how they used to talk about him coaching and knowing every single rule, like this tiny rule that's never used.
no,
I can take
that's
advantage
true.
of it,
That's
right? Like,
true, but it's a fine line before it starts being like nigga. And I think that's why he didn't get the flag on that particular play. But he is getting calls like Brady.
Yeah.
Like he gets the calls. He gets the benefit of the doubt like Brady did.
hey, hey. So, Mark. Okay, lot going on. Okay, so here we go. Marvin's World said the Super Bowl could be Reed versus Philly for the three-peat and two black quarterbacks. That's huge. Had Lamar Jackson won, we'd be looking at a Final Four with four black quarterbacks.
Right.
Yeah.
Would have been
With
crazy.
Lamar Jackson losing, we still have three black quarterbacks, but four mobile quarterbacks. So Josh Allen is, what I'm saying, now we're establishing, hey guys, if you're going into the draft, the pocket quarterback, the guy that's a statue, the Eli Mannings, the Peyton Mannings, those guys, the
Mhm.
guys that can stand there. No. We don't want that anymore. We
Yeah.
need somebody that can move the pocket, somebody that's mobile, somebody that can get out the way. Um, Even Eli and Peyton's younger, what is it, the nephew? That's their nephew
Mhm.
that's at Texas
Yeah. That's
now.
their name. Arch Manning.
Yeah.
Arch Manning,
Arsenal's in it.
he's the remix. He can move,
Yeah.
right? He's not a statue like his uncles. Like
So
he can get
Ubang,
on and scoot.
what exactly were you getting to then when you said Lamar Jackson hadn't won a Super Bowl? Would he be the first of his kind to win a Super Bowl? Because you're saying he's a running quarterback? Like,
But he again, and by Lamar Jackson is a running quarterback. He's not a mobile quarterback. A
okay,
mobile
that's
quarterback
where
is
I
just
was getting at because you're so
somebody
there's
that
a
can
distinction
somebody.
between
No. What
okay.
Lamar Jackson does is Lamar Jackson can scamper for 70.
What
He
what
can
is
give.
what is Jalen Hurts? Because you said Jalen
He's a
Hurts is
poor
a
man.
poor man's
He is. He
Lamar
is a poor man.
Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. He's a chunky Lamar Jackson that don't have the speed, but has like the strength to
So
kind of
he's a running quarterback.
yeah. Oh,
Okay.
for sure. Because
So
yeah. So again,
all
but
right, I'm just trying to get to figure it
so
out.
yes, that's definitely interesting. Engineer, in regards to the penalties, um, do I think there were two penalties specifically? There was the one on Will Anderson where he it was a helmet, supposed to be a helmet to helmet. We never even saw the
Yeah.
angle that shows the side whether his helmet even made contact with
Right.
Mahomes' helmet, but it didn't look like it made contact. Again, if
And they what? They called it.
they called it, but the NFL has a directive that if it looks close and it's against a quarterback,
Uh-huh.
especially the
Uh-huh.
face of the league, we're calling it.
Okay, pause right there. When Jared Goff had to go get his ass checked out for a concussion, what happened on that play? He
That
was
was,
clearly hit.
but
And
that was after
on the
an
turnover,
interception.
and quarterbacks are considered defensive players at that point, and that motherfucker got hit in his chin with the dude's helmet. No call. Had that been Patrick Mahomes, you
Patrick
know it's
Mahomes,
getting called.
Patrick Mahomes ain't chasing down that. He's not chasing down
He
that dude.
wasn't chasing nobody either.
Yes, he
Dude ran
was.
straight up. Ubon, you gotta look at that. He ran
Jared Goff
straight up
was
into him like, go sit your ass down.
Jared Goff was chasing the
Taste
play.
this helmet and go sit your ass down. My point is, had it been Patrick Mahomes, Mahomes is getting the call, and he gets the benefit of the doubt, like Tom Brady got the benefit of the doubt. You compare to Tom Brady, they both get the benefit. Well, Brady got,
Yep,
and
when he
and
was.
and Mahomes gets.
Yeah. So engineer,
Yeah,
engineer,
got lit up, engineer.
engineer, engineer. Can we agree
Yeah,
that
he got took out and wasn't right. You got damn right, Marvin's World.
engineer?
Oh.
Hey, can we agree, engineer, that that Patrick Mahomes is the face of the league?
Okay, well, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Then he's gonna get the calls. That's part of the reason why he gets the calls, man.
I keep forgetting that Marvin's World is
He's
a
a
Detroit.
Lions fan. he said Goff got took out and wasn't right since. Like, nigga, hey, and he was looking for the smelling sauce to get right back in there because he's like, I can't let Bridgewater get the reps.
You could hear him. You could see him on the sideline. He told coach,
He's
"I'm
like, I'm
okay."
good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
So,
He was seeing double, triple. It was a triple
so
entendre
again,
for him
and
at
then there
that
was
point.
and then there was another and then there was
Ooh.
another and then there was another.
Wait, Oob.
Mm.
Oob,
Yeah.
I think Marvin's World is saying, is he the face of which league? The flopping league?
Hey, I understand your frustration. I understand
Mm.
your frustration, engineer. I
Oh, he's a
understand your
Texans fan, right?
Yeah,
frustration. He
yeah,
is. He
engineers
Yeah,
is.
a Texas
yeah,
fan.
yeah, yeah. The
So,
Texans fan. Yeah.
but engineer, do you and I'm gonna ask you this honestly. The first play was against Will Anderson. The second play was against Low. I think his name is Tololo. Where I think he might have pushed. I think he pushed him out of bounds, and it was kind of like borderline. Or no. I think it was where they
The two
where
players
he
hit
slid.
helmets and
He
yeah.
slid late, and the two players hit helmets, and they called a roughing the passer on that. Do you believe that those two plays um, changed the outcome of the game?
Hey man, he's hot. And this was yesterday. And he's
Yeah,
still
I know. I was
hot.
waiting. Honestly, I was waiting to hear. I was waiting to hear from him today because we had he was in the chat last week, and we
Yeah.
had a
Oh
conversation.
yeah,
And
he's
I
hot.
and I and I had to ask him, like, are you a Texans fan?
Yeah. So the one with Tololo, I think his name is. I hate if I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name. Was the one where they didn't call it, where he like held up and was acting like he was about to run out of bounds, but then he kind of stayed in a little bit, and
But
Tololo pushed him out, but they didn't call it. They didn't call that one.
but he's saying that the penalties actually kept the drives moving and they ended up scoring 10
10
points
points.
combined on those off of those penalties.
Yeah.
Hey, Bong can't either, engineer. Bong can't pronounce his name either. He's like Tololo.
But yeah, I mean, I hear it. I understand your gripe. But like they have a saying in boxing, right? Like you gotta if you want to take the belt from the champ, you gotta beat the champ. Like you can't come in and it's close and it's 50-50. They're gonna get every advantage. You got an A side, you got a B side.
Especially at the crib.
Hey, Floyd
Yeah.
Mayweather, A side fighter after he earned his stripes against Oscar De La Hoya. He became the A side. When I'm the A side, I get all the advantages. I get all the
Hey, look,
like all the additional things.
engineer
But
said it is what it is. When the
no,
motherfuckers say it is what it is, they
He's
like,
done. He's done.
they hot though. Like it
Yeah,
is
but
what
he's,
it is.
he's done. Like, man, ain't shit I could do.
but you have to understand that you came in at a disadvantage because you guys weren't at full strength offensively. Your defense really, really they really fought a valiant. They put forth a
It
valiant
it, it
effort.
was it was tight close.
It was
I mean,
close.
it was tight early. It was close early. And
Yeah,
I'm like, it was tight close. It was close early. And I was like, oh, you know,
and
you
they
get
took
them. What did I say before we went into the game? I said if you get them in a game to where it's, you know, one possession, 3 minutes left. If Houston happens to get the ball, it could go either way. Like, they could steal it, but they kind of fell apart, man. Like second half, it was just
and the funny thing
Houston
is,
couldn't capitalize on anything.
I think they took away a lot of the receivers. Only Xavier Worthy was the only receiver to catch a pass, I believe. Let me see. Yeah,
Hey, while you checking that out,
no, it's the truth. Xavier
No,
Worthy was the only receiver to catch a pass.
oh
I think
no,
it
it's the
no,
comment
no.
engineer.
Engineer says to be fair, Stroud played his ass off with no receivers. That was the only disappointment. It felt like he outplayed Mahomes with Buddy from the Lowe's parking lot.
hey, I think it was
hey,
what was
hey,
his name?
Stroud,
Hutchinson.
Stroud drove to the Lowe's parking lot. You hop in.
I think it
Got
was
a game
Hutchinson.
at 2.
Was that Hutchinson that was kind of getting busy? Let me see. I got the thing up right now.
Um, man,
Yeah,
I mean,
Xavier Hutchinson, Dalton Schultz, former Cowboy. Hey, are we gonna talk about how Dalton Schultz, um, with his pass block, his shitty ass pass blocking? Um,
ah, yeah,
I'll let
yeah.
engineer sound off on
It's
that.
back and forth. Hey, Schultz had that nice catch.
Yeah, yeah.
Late was it late in the was it the third or fourth? Man, oh, he
He
said Schultz is a
said
bum. Is he a bum though, engineer? Is Schultz a bum? I
he
don't
did.
know, man. He's
He couldn't get it. He couldn't get it
mm,
done. He's not a great pass blocker, but
He's
they
as
keep
good as his
asking him.
blocking.
But they couldn't. They keep asking these tight ends. That's coaching, right? Steve Spagnuolo, one of the best defensive coordinators in the game, he blitzed the fuck out of the Texans late, and they had no answers, and they were trying to block a DN with Dalton Schultz.
Oh
You're never
wow.
gonna do that. You're
and I
never gonna do
forgot
that.
I forgot who was saying it. I don't know if it was Colin Coward who was talking about um tight ends, right? And just the makeup of tight ends and how they play the game. And he said just the physicality that it takes to play that position. It kind of spoke to the point you made, Ubang, about how you thought Kelsey would turn it up in the playoffs, because he was like, you can't expect a tight end when they get in their later years to give
Mhm.
you that high value, that high play every single game of the year. Just because they're expected to pass block, is really physical, they take the hits, and then they're still expected to catch passes and make these big plays. He was like, when they're younger, in their younger years, early years, you'll see that. But as they get older, they got to pick and choose their spots. And Kelsey seems to have been doing that, this year. And I think, like
Last
you
year
said,
too.
yeah, and I think, like you said, now he's picking it up because it's go time
Yep.
now in the playoffs. So, but yeah, like you say, you start getting those blitzes, and the tight end has to pick them up, got a chip block, and then get out and still catch the pass. Like
Yeah.
it takes a lot.
You see engineer's last comment? They had Dalton Schultz playing out of position. He's the
The
receiving tight
the
end.
receiving
All right.
tight end.
Yeah, the blocker
and
got broke his
and
collarbone.
Baltimore has, I would say, likely is more of the receiving tight end. Um, but he can block too. I don't know. Like
Both of
him
them
and
can.
Andrews, yeah, they both, yeah, they
So
likely's just smaller, but he can block too.
yeah, I think wasn't he said Nico got injured early in the game. It kept every time I went, they
Damn.
showed him he kept going to the sideline, but he kept coming back in. I think he was trying to play through
Yeah,
whatever the injury was for Nico.
yeah.
Um, yeah, man. I mean, listen, you guys were fighting an uphill battle, and it didn't. The defense was valiant. Um, I think Spagnola showed CJ Stroud some things late that he didn't expect, and Spagnola knew exactly when to get into his bag. And timely blitzes, timely blitzes. Chris Jones got home a couple times. Then you got what's the other dude's name? Karloftis. Oh my gosh, Karloftis had like 3 sacks, I believe. Hold on.
Mhm. Yeah, they
Yeah,
were pressuring him. They were
so
getting to him.
they sacked Stroud a
Yeah,
total of
yeah,
8
they were
times.
definitely cooked,
George Karloftis.
sauteed by the fourth quarter.
Yeah, yeah,
Engineer definitely.
yeah. So you know,
They were flipping him in the pan like, yes,
but
they were
but
done.
hopefully next year you guys come back healthy.
Yeah.
You guys are still a threat you guys are still a threat just because of that defense. If nothing else, that defense showed its ass yesterday. I think Mahomes and Kansas City came out a little bit flat. The fact that Xavier Worthy was the only receiver to register a pass catch,
Mm-hmm.
a pass caught, excuse me, was he had 5 catches for like 45 yards, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Xavier had 5 for 45. No other wide receiver caught the ball. That means you guys were sound
That's
on
crazy.
the back end.
That's crazy. Damn.
Yeah. So, I mean, Texans definitely showed out yesterday. Yesterday, but it just wasn't enough. And I know that the calls are going to be what was talked about. Um, I think Mahomes showed like that. It's something, man. It's something there with Mahomes that I'm telling you, like that's why I don't care what he does in the regular season anymore. I don't know if he's trying to have these gaudy stats, but when it comes into the playoffs, he will make the right play. It seems every time it's required.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no, and I think the defense feeds off of it. And
Mhm.
let's see. So the thing about the
He
thing about
does what needs to be done when it needs to be done.
the thing
That's
Absolutely.
about
that's kind of how it's rolling with
Yeah.
him. Like,
the thing about the Final Four is that um, both teams, right? So Kansas City lost to Buffalo on the road earlier in the year. Now they get to get their revenge or go for their revenge at home. Same thing with Philadelphia and Washington. Philadelphia lost to Washington on the road earlier in the year. Now they get to try and get their revenge at home. So
Mm.
let's see what happens, man.
so look, Bong. I asked you last week. You told me
We covered
that
all
both.
4 games.
Yeah, I
Did we
think
cover
Yeah.
all
we talked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
talked about.
We talked about all
We
four.
didn't go in depth with with
Philly
the
and the Rams?
Philly and the Rams, but we
Okay,
kind of touched on it. But so
my
last week I
homework for
last
sure.
week I asked you. Well, you said both teams,
It,
and you were referring to Baltimore and the Bills, and you said both
yeah,
teams better hope that Houston wins
Yeah.
because you didn't think either one of them could beat Kansas City. And I said, hey man, is Kansas City going to the Super Bowl? And you said, I'm not willing to commit to that. Are you willing to commit to that now?
I'm taking Kansas City to beat Buffalo, and I'm taking Philadelphia to beat Washington.
Okay.
The two home
K
teams.
KP, what you got?
I'm gonna go with a home team, and I'm gonna go with an away team. The home team I'm gonna go with is Kansas City. Um, Hard to beat Mahomes in the playoffs. And then I'm going to go with Washington. Um, let's let Jaden Daniels with the triple crown of 3 road wins in the playoffs to start his rookie campaign in the playoffs.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, engineer said Kansas City refs are for sure making the play Super Bowl.
The Kansas
Hey,
City refs, huh?
so Taylor Swift swapped out Ice Spice for Caitlin Clark. I think Caitlin Clark was in the skybox
He was in the
uh,
building.
this
Mm.
go round.
Okay.
Uh, so but
So
again,
what does that mean? They got to bring Caitlyn back for the rest of the Super Bowl run?
the funny thing, engineer, is now that I think Troy Aikman didn't mince any words about um, the the favoritism or the favoritism that Kansas City was getting from the referees. He put a spotlight on it, and it's been talked about a lot. So I'm interested to see how the referees how they ref this game, how they officiate this game, because I think that they're going to let a lot of stuff slide, and Mahomes
I
is
doubt
going
it.
to have to. No, no, no. Whenever you put the spotlight on it, right? And this is on the ESPN broadcast, so that's one of the bigger. It's not like this wasn't on Prime
No, I hear
or
you.
on Netflix. This is on ESPN, ABC actually. So you know
Oh, Breeze said he thinks the refs will back off against the
they
Bills.
they
Maybe.
have to. They've been called out on a national stage on ABC. They've been called out. You have got to change the narrative, because people are going to start saying that, hey, man, it's the refs against da 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 da. The refs want this team to win. So if Kansas City wins, they're gonna have to dig in their bag and really go get this win, and it's gonna have to be
Mm.
convincing.
Okay.
Convincing.
And Marvin's World says he thinks it's Buffalo versus Philly. He thinks Buffalo's gonna pull it off. So okay. And then Say Breeze is speaking to your point, Ubong. If it gets too obvious, even after Aikman brought its attention, the NFL will lose more than they will gain if the Chiefs three-peat.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I
Can't
don't
count
know,
out
man.
Washington.
Hey,
Marvin Pearl said you can't count out
that's
Washington.
what I keep saying, man. Marvin's World. I'm saying if it becomes a shootout kind of thing, hey, watch out for Washington, man. McLaurin might might get loose on them cats.
Mm,
Oh,
mm.
Damn.
engineer says they'll demolish the Chiefs.
No, I'm looking at the stat before that though.
The Texans outpaced Kansas City Chiefs by 100 yards on offense, and the first team ever to lose with that stat.
Mm.
Uh, okay, I don't know.
I
Uh,
mean,
It it it, it depends on. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, 100 yards.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
I mean,
but that kind of depends on where you get the ball. If it's a turnover, where did it happen, and all that. You can move the ball and not do
I
shit.
know I'm saying 50,
End result.
70, 80, but
so
100?
so
Damn.
what I'm saying is, I don't know what the weather conditions are going to be in Kansas City. It's cold over there too. So Buffalo is used to playing in those conditions.
Yeah.
The Buffalo that I saw today,
Oh man,
you're
that's
not
crazy. We go ahead. The Buffalo you saw today is what?
the Buffalo I saw today against Baltimore is not beating Kansas City. Like, you're gonna have to bring like, again, you're gonna have to bring a better game plan. That game plan won against Baltimore because Baltimore refused to consistently run the ball like they did against Pittsburgh. If Baltimore, especially as they're gashing you in the second half, I wouldn't have put the ball in the air. Like, it would have been one of those games like Pittsburgh where it's like 15 straight rushes.
But they really didn't. It was just short. It was short dump offs to get the first down. They were running the ball until the last drive they had to pass because they didn't have a choice on the last drive. They had to get the first down, but he just ended up going deep. But they were running it way more in the second half. They were definitely running the ball. Um, it just I don't know, man.
There you go.
Motherfuckers
There you
just
go,
disagree.
DP. So first off, let's say Breeze, and then we'll go to Engineer, who has finally ringing that same bell that you
Oh, that I said earlier. Okay.
So,
So first Say Breeze says, personally, I think Philly has been looking rough. They seem too one-dimensional with Saquon and Hurts just running. AJ Brown so frustrated. He dropped a few balls today. And let's say Breeze off the heels of taking a break and reading a book the week before.
self help.
Um, yeah. So So I mean, Philly, like I said earlier, I don't think that they're clicking on all cylinders, and I think they're leaving the door open for it to be a game against the Commanders. I think the
Yeah.
Commanders have a real legitimate shot, man. I know it's a lot of folks out there that was probably like, man, this dude talking crazy, but I think they have a legitimate shot. And it's like you said, Ubang, It's that it's there's really no pressure on Jaden Daniels.
Not at
Motherfucker, they
all.
didn't expect you to do this anyway. So you just out there doing what you already exceeding expectations. You just doing what you do. There's really no pressure. So sometimes it's like the person who's able to play more loose is just more dangerous. So
It's not even the house money. He's got the church's money now. They
Ooh.
like he like
Hey,
he got a
hey,
he,
hey.
they
You know
called
what
a
happened?
special offering and gave him the offering.
You know what happened with the church money sometimes.
No, no, no. I ain't talking about effing up
let,
the church's
let
money.
me know what
Yeah,
happened with the
okay.
church money.
They
You
be
talking about
fucking it up.
yeah,
They be
no,
fucking
Okay.
up
no,
the churches.
no, no,
Okay.
no, no,
Okay,
no, no.
okay, okay. You talking
They
about the
get
church's money. I didn't see
they
the
gave
church's
him the
money.
church's money.
But
Okay.
anybody else on that one dimensional comment of the Hurts and Saquon? Because
I
it's
agree.
almost go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I said it earlier in the show that the weak link is Jalen Hurts as a passer. He's a poor man's Lamar Jackson. He's not as dynamic as a runner. He's not as dynamic of a runner as Lamar Jackson is, and he's way less accurate of a passer. I also think that their offensive coordinator, who again has ties to Dallas, we know what happens in the games when it gets tight. They almost lost that game because instead of handing the ball off to Saquon, you let Jalen Hurts roll out a bootleg,
Mm-hmm.
take a 15-yard sack.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
What the
why?
fuck? Why?
It's
Why did
Kellen Moore. It's
wait, wait,
Kellen
wait?
Moore.
Why did they go into shotgun formation at the 10 and then Hertz takes a three step drop from shotgun and takes a safety?
Yeah, yeah,
Like what was that?
yeah.
Like,
Say
all
Breeze
right.
says, got to remember Buffalo is built to beat KC. Is what they've been building for years now. I hope so, but I just don't. I'm not betting against. I'm not betting against Mahomes. There's a lot of storylines involved with them going for a three-peat. I think it's never been done before,
Mm-hmm.
and again, they're gonna have to do it clean. No referee, no funny business this week, but
And I
it
and I
should
gotta
be interesting.
I gotta say, I gotta go back because you wanted to say engineer was ringing that bell I was talking about earlier about Baltimore getting done by Andrews.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just saying,
Right.
like you said, things that were uncharacteristic. I think KP said this before we got on. Things that were uncharacteristic of Lamar Jackson happened. He
Yeah.
hadn't been turning the ball over and stuff like that. Ubang, that
Yeah.
was uncharacteristic of Andrews to fumble and then to also drop that 2-point conversion.
Right.
That's huge. That's
Them
all
light,
I'm saying, man.
them lights got too bright. Hey, I hope we saying it right. Ivy Jersey, baby. Welcome to the chat.
Oh,
Appreciate
welcome,
it.
Ivy
Appreciate it.
Them
Jersey.
hands got too cold. That's what that
Hey,
was.
listen, I
With
got
that
hey,
damn brick.
hey, look, yo. Back to the Jaden Daniels thing for a second. Engineer is fucking funny. Like he said, Jaden Daniels got to stop taking them Looney Tunes hits.
Yeah.
hey, you remember how the vans used to drive over niggas and they be flat on the
Hey,
ground?
hey, it'll be hey, it'll be a cloud of smoke and a exclamation point and a question mark.
And the character just be flat on the pavement. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Hold
Jaden
Man,
on.
Daniels taking the Looney Tunes hits, huh? Okay. Oh
Say
man.
Bree says there's zero pressure on a new kid. Hurts has been here multiple times with nothing to show for it other than a participation
That's
award.
that's what I'm saying.
Um,
So I think he was
Ivy
agreeing with what I
Jersey
said.
baby says Eagles defense been balling the offense out for some been bailing the offense out for some time. Saquon heroics as well. Absolutely, Saquon should
Uh,
and again.
and I see them Eagles from Ivy Jersey, baby. So I'm assuming Ivy
You're
Jersey, baby's an Eagles fan. So
Yeah, New Jersey's
uh,
right next door to Philly, so we
mm-hmm,
would definitely
mm-hmm.
assume that you're a Philly fan. And again, what Saquon is doing in the playoffs should really because that they don't determine the MVP until the playoffs.
Oh,
I
for
think
sure. I don't.
yeah.
Saquon
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Saquon should definitely have strong MVP considerations. He's carrying that
Let me
offense.
tell you what's hurting him though, and it happened in this game. They'll get in the red zone, hand it off to him, and he'll come up short. Anytime they get within the 1 or 2 yard line, they doing that what do they call it? The brotherly love. What is that shit called?
The tush
Not the tush
push.
push, but they call it
Oh,
something else.
Brotherly shove, the brotherly
the
shove.
brotherly
The
shove.
brotherly shove.
Yes, sir.
They go to that, and that's probably taking, let's say, a handful of touchdowns off of what Saquon Barkley could have had during the season.
Yeah,
If let's say
absolutely.
you add like 5 more touchdowns to what he's done, then it's
Yeah,
really a even stronger argument,
yeah.
in consideration for him. So
Hey,
that brother, the brotherly love push or whatever, the brotherly shove, that's hurting Saquon Barkley in
did you
that
see
MVP
engineer?
talk.
You see what engineer said? Engineer says he doesn't think it's uncharacteristic. He thinks the Ravens aren't good under pressure, and that's all I've been saying. When the
Okay.
pressure's on, when the lights are bright, they fold every single time.
But you
It's
also
literally
you also said that Lamar Jackson had not been turning the ball over this entire year,
right. I
and then he
said that,
did.
and when it counted most
Okay,
in the
yeah. So,
playoffs,
so I'm saying,
and the last time he had multiple turnovers this
okay,
game,
yeah,
first time
yeah.
all season, and
You
his
said it
last
was the
time
other
having
playoff game, so yeah.
and the last time he had multiple turnovers was last year when he lost to Kansas
Right.
City.
I'll give you that.
Marvin's World says Commander stole Detroit hype, and now DC is back in business. Hey, you know what would have been fun if we could have seen a Super Bowl with the Commanders versus the Baltimore Ravens. The DMV would have went crazy. That would have been
Oh yeah.
stupid,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
stupid
yeah,
crazy Super Bowl. But
absolutely.
I mean, we'll never. I won't say never, but we won't
No,
see it this
I'll say it. You'll never see
year.
it. You will never see it. At least in our lifetime.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What you say, Uban, will be dust and bones and
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Memories,
yeah.
right? But yeah, man. Oh man, this was fun, man. We appreciate everybody for tapping in with us tonight. We're definitely gonna be back uh after the conference championship games next week. We really hope that y'all tap in with us. Engineer, I know the Texans ain't in no more, but man, you definitely fun in the chat. So if y'all could, you
Engineer's
know,
funny as fuck.
yeah, man. If
Yeah.
y'all come back and fuck with the same bat time, same bat channel, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
We'll be
uh,
here.
well, and even if we switch up the time on y'all, make sure you if you see it posted, what
Yeah,
I'm saying, go check it out. Go check it
absolutely.
out. But the interaction from y'all is dope. We appreciate all of y'all, man. So shout out to y'all.
Yeah.
Two peas in the bong in the building, man.
Hey,
Absolutely.
appreciate y'all.
All right, y'all. We'll holla at y'all.
Peace.
Peace.